Usually when you hear enthusiastic fans at Ohio Stadium, they are cheering for the OSU football team. Next June, enthusiastic fans will be cheering for the biggest names in country music at the very first Buckeye Country Superfest held at the iconic Ohio Stadium. The exciting talent lineup will be announced in a few minutes. My name is Gary O'Brien, Director of Communications for OSU Business Advancement, and welcome and thank you all for coming. To the media, I hope you picked up you'll get a press release at the end of this press conference today, which will have contact information. And you can contact me in the coming months to stay in touch. Also, there is an agenda I hope you picked up. It's got all the speakers' names on it, the correct spelling of their names, and their job titles. So you might want that because there are a few people you might want to get the correct spelling of their name. So after the press conference, all the speakers will be available for one-on-one interviews as well. To start, I'd like to introduce Zen Riggs, OSU Associate Vice President and Executive Associate Director, Athletic Director.
Wow, applause. I never get that except at home, so thanks for indulging me. Thank you all for coming. We really do appreciate it. We're very excited about what we're here to announce today. Just a few brief comments. So I guess it was about 3 years ago, Gene pulled me aside and said, Zen, we really want to use Ohio Stadium for more things. We want to have more events in there. We really want it to become more of a community asset. To which I said to Gene, well, let me know when you get done building it. And we can do that because that's been one of our biggest challenges is all the improvements that have been made over the last few years. We haven't had a stadium show here since 2003, and a lot of people ask me, well, why is that? Why has it been so long? It's a difficult proposition. It's a tough business proposition. Ohio Stadium has been under renovation construction for a long time, but it's not an easy thing to pull off. And so in order to do so, you got to have the right act at the right time and the right partners and people doing this that know what they're doing. So when we were approached some time ago by AEG and FPI, who are here with us today, one of the things that we test this with is, do we have all those things in place to make this work? And we're thrilled that they came to us and proposed that this be a site under consideration for this event. They come with great credentials in the festival business. AEG is one of the biggest promoters in the world, and they produce Coachella and Stagecoach and a lot of the big festivals around the country. FPI has done the New Orleans Jazz Festival for about 150 years, and Quint was there for the first one. You can tell by looking at him. But they've been very successful there, and also with the Superfest brand, which they've brought to Louisiana and to Florida very successfully. So we have complete confidence that in our partners, we have the best partners we could ask for, and so we're very, very excited about this event. With that, I'm going to introduce Gene Smith, who's my boss, Vice President and Director of Athletics.
Thanks, Zen. Appreciate that. Everybody good? You guys okay? Good. I just want to welcome our partners. We're really excited about this opportunity. Frankly, the vision and the thought process to have something in the shoe actually goes back prior to my arrival with my predecessor, Andy Geiger, but with me in really 2006 when we changed the turf to field turf in the stadium. When we went from regular grass to artificial turf, one of the ideas was to try and operationally make it a little bit easier to do multiple things in the stadium. And over the years, as Zen has said, we've done some modifications. This year, we added to 2,600 seats. We added permanent lights. The year prior to that, we added our DAS system, our digital antenna system, and next year we'll do some Wi-Fi in the stadium. But every year, we're going to do something that enhances this iconic facility. But all along, we felt that there was a need to try and take advantage of this asset in this great community. Columbus and Central Ohio is fastly growing, great investors in this community. We cannot have an asset of this magnitude and this level of importance to our community and our state sit idle and just rely on the 7 or 8 home football games and commencements and things of that nature. So this asset now will come to life in a different way. think the acts that will be announced here today are slightly different than the 2003 Metallica. Which then, by the way, I wouldn't have come anyway unless it was Luther Vandross or somebody. But anyway, so I'll definitely be there next year, June 20th and 21st, 2015. And again, I want to welcome our partners and thank them for being here. And I'm going to turn this over to the Chief Operating Officer of AEG Live, Sean. You want to come up and take it over? Go Bucks.
Thank you, everybody, and welcome. This is indeed an exciting day. AEG Live is very pleased to be here and to be a part of this event and to throw its support and resources behind making this not only a successful event, but to work with Festival Productions, Inc. and Quit Davis and creating an experience. That's the aim here, is to create an experience as opposed to just a concert event, something that the attendees here in year one will be, excited about and will be talking about the experience that they had, and that it grows in the future and becomes that annual event that just is on the calendar as something people plan on doing and enjoying. We've been in business with Quint now for 10 years in connection with the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, the longest running festival of its type or size in the country, 40 years worth. And it's been a privilege to be, working with him on that for the last 10 years. And this is our third foray with the Superfest brand. We just finished our 5th year down in Baton Rouge at LSU Tiger Stadium, and our first year this past year in Jacksonville, in the stadium with the Jacksonville Jaguars play in. So AEG again is pleased to be here, and we're here because this is an opportunity to launch another one of these Superfest branded events in an iconic venue with an incredible team, support staff and team here with Zen and his people at Ohio State, and in a state that's passionate about this university and is a country music hotbed. And for all of those reasons, this seemed like the next place to go and the place to be, and we're looking forward to June of next year. Thanks.
Okay, up next is Quint Davis, the producer and director of Buckeye Country Superfest. I was told to introduce you as the incomparable Quint Davis. And if you in the media are nice to him, he might show you his boots later. But here's Quint with a pretty fun part of this press conference.
Yeah, I get over this. I get the fun part. Yeah. I have content here. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you all for coming out today. We've already announced our biggest attraction here, and that's Ohio Stadium at The Ohio State University. People are excited about the fact that one of the biggest country festivals in the world is coming here to The Ohio State University. Before we came here, we considered both college and professional who's who of American stadiums to find really the very best one for a country superfest. And fortunately, we ended up here. I'll go off script a little bit. One of the really important reasons that we came here, that made this choice, is that The Ohio State University either owns or operates 2 of the premier arenas in America. So you have an in-house concert production company that produces hundreds of shows year-round. Zen and his crew, what we call it in New Orleans, Zen and his crew with Mike and Breeden and Leslie, they're very good at what they do, and they bring a lot to the table that's going to help make this thing a success. Well, I haven't seen that kind of organization. I haven't seen an in-house concert producing company within a stadium organization, college or pro, and so that was a big part of our choice. Now, we know what an honor it is to put our stage on the field at this hallowed stadium here at the Ohio State University in Columbus, Ohio. Now, there's two things that I want you to know before we pull down the curtains. First, this is not a show just coming through here one time. This is an annual event. This will be here this time next year, and it'll be here for years and years to come. Second, this is not a tour. This is not a touring package. This is a festival that you can only see here in Ohio Stadium. It's not prepackaged, and it's not going to be anywhere else in America. So, to get on with it, if we are going to build our stage and play our game on your field here in Ohio Stadium, we have to be the home team too. So one of the first things we did was reach out to the one country megastar group that is the home team here in Columbus, Ohio. Formed right here in Columbus in 1999 with 7 platinum albums, 12 #1 hits, they are the home team of the first Country Superfest, Rascal Flatts. They will be joined by Kenny Chesney, Blake Shelton, Keith Urban, Lee Brice, Cole Swindell, Tyler Farr, David Nail, Cassadee Pope, and Parmalee. Let me do that again, because I just love saying this lineup. The Buckeye Country Superfest in 2015 is Kenny Chesney, Blake Shelton, Keith Urban, Rascal Flatts, Lee Brice, Cole Swindell, David Nail, Tyler Farr, Cassadee Pope, and Parmalee. And the way it plays out is on Saturday, it's Blake, Rascal Flatts, Lee Brice, Tyler, and Cassadee. Sunday night, the last night, is Kenny and Keith. Whew, that's hot. I'm a little prejudiced, but that is a hot show. Kenny Chesney, Keith Urban, Cole Swindell, David Nail, and Parmalee. So that's why we don't just call it a country fest. That's why we call it a country superfest. One more thing that I'd like to leave you with before we go. Other than the fortunate few that get in what we call the golden horseshoe, our stage is in the south end of the stadium, first of all. That stage is about 230 feet wide and 75 feet tall. When you come in, you won't see the scoreboard behind it. The field will be covered with gleaming white plastic. There'll be about 8,000 seats on that field. So other than the few lucky people that get in what we call the golden horseshoe, they can actually stand around that runway and touch the performers. Every seat at the Buckeye Country Superfest is a reserved seat. And that's why when the tickets go on sale on a week from today on the 14th at 10 a.m., a lot of them are going to go and go quickly. There's only so many seats down front near the stage. All the seats on the floor, quote unquote, there's a big party going on if you're on the floor. And the way the stadium, is constructed and works for a show like this, on the west side, if y'all are familiar with it, you have the club seats. There's great sideline seats all the way across. Those tickets, in our experience, they're going to go fast on the 14th. So it may seem like it's a ways away, but if you want to sit in these special places, I would suggest that you be ready on the morning of the 14th. So, it's an honor to be here. It's an enormous privilege and opportunity, and we know that we're going to rock this joint, let me tell you what. So, y'all come. Thank you very much.
What an incredible lineup. To close the press conference, I'd like to introduce Brian Ross, President and CEO of Experience Columbus.
Thank you. I don't think I can follow that. I'm surprised you just didn't drop the mic and walk out. But anyhow, I don't know if everybody knows, but I remember the very first concert in Ohio Stadium. I actually worked at Pink Floyd, so very familiar with that, putting my age there. But this, I'm sure, will be 20 times better than that. But we would like to thank Ohio State, AEG, and FPI for working together to put this and make this possible to come here to Columbus and have this type of entertainment in the iconic Ohio Stadium. Buckeyes and Columbus love country music, and we're very, very excited for the Buckeye Superfest to be coming to the iconic Ohio Stadium next June. It's an event the entire community, the state, and the region will look forward to experiencing. And we talk about experiences. I believe our community will provide this particular Superfest one of the greatest experiences that they've had year to date. But not only that, we view this as a national event. Columbus is 1 hour's flight or 1 day's drive from over half the population in the United States. So we view this as huge. Not only is it in the greatest venue in the country, but everyone will have access to get here and experience it. We often see the people that come to Columbus for leisure, for games, for meetings, and also for festivals enjoy their visit here. So much so that they continue to come back year over year, which brings dollars back into our community. We're very excited that we're looking at a multi-year commitment with the Buckeye Country Superfest. So I think that's something that we all need to understand and know that this isn't just a one-off. This is something that you look at from a partnership to create a foundation. Annually, tourism represents $7.8 billion in economic impact. The Buckeye Country Superfest will draw visitors to Columbus from all over the nation, and they will be bringing their dollars and also, year after year, continue to bring those dollars and friends back to our community. Now, this was very competitive, and we were very fortunate to win out over many different cities. However, when you have Ohio Stadium on your team, you don't lose. Okay, so we were very fortunate that we won out. Now, I did learn an interesting tidbit in speaking with Sean that Baton Rouge and Jacksonville have been very, very successful with this particular event. And coming to Columbus, I know and believe that we will set the bar at its highest level for the other two Superfests to compete with. But I also understand that Sean happens to be from here in Columbus and a Buckeye fan, and Quint happens to be from Baton Rouge and an LSU fan. So we're in a very competitive building right here, and I think we'll lay down the challenge that over the next 3 years we definitely want to surpass what was created in Baton Rouge, all in friendly competition. But again, just to show that Columbus and our region is behind this 100%, and we're looking forward to a very, very successful event. Thank you very much for choosing Columbus.
Okay, thank you, Brian. That concludes the press conference. All the speakers, we're going to ask to pose right here for a quick photo before the one-on-ones, and then everybody will be available for one-on-one interviews. There is contact information on the press release, and feel free to contact me also in the coming months, and we can set you up with whatever we need to do to help with this incredible event. So thank you very much.